Well, hi everyone, my name is shovelclaws. Today, we're gonna run Spark Electric Jester 3. This game's a very high-speed action, a 3D action platformer. You play Spark, and basically the story goes that the internet's been shut down by a big bad kind of dictatorship-like force called the Fark Force, and instead of just waiting in a bank line, Spark's like, we're gonna overthrow a government. Why not? Honestly, very in character. Oh my god, wait. This guy is sitting up on my thing. I usually have him out on my desk when I do Spark runs, but it's 8 AM, so I'm not on my best game yet. It's fine. Spark is a really cool speedrun. It's one of my favorites of all time, so I'm excited to show it off today. So we'll just get into it. Time starts whenever we start the new file here, and we'll get going in 3, 2, 1, go. Alright. So every game has their great first stage, and Mario has 1-1, Sonic Green Hill Zone, kind of. Instead of that, we get a car, because Spark likes starting off in style, while we dance to some Eurobeat. This car mechanics are very straightforward and honestly not that important. We just hit the boost button when we want to speed up a bit, maintain a speed of around 350, 325 between there, and then just drift any corners because it gives you an added speed boost. Otherwise, the car is very straightforward, so we're going to actually skip ahead a little bit into some of the basic mechanics. This game is pretty straightforward. For the most simple of movement, you can move around, you can run, you can jump, you can double jump too, but the thing that sets Spark apart is his dash mechanics. Instead of, say, a spin dash or a boost button, Spark actually has a little dash he can do, and he can do this dash in air and on ground. In air, he has a limited amount of dashes, just one when you're playing as the basic Spark. Thankfully, you'll get to see some of the not Spark characters in this run, because we got the all levels incentive, which is pretty epic. But those dashes can be abused a little bit when we use them in combination with some other stuff. So, you can see now, Spark, very straightforward. We also have this little charged boost, so we can just charge up a dash, it'll speed us up a little bit. It's pretty epic, And that was Alpine Career, the first stage. That wasn't great, I ran into a lot of walls, but it's okay. Not a big deal. And then, next we have the true first stage of this game, Double Moon Villa. In this stage, we have 2 goals. First, of course, is to beat the stage, obviously, while going fast, and additionally, we want to collect 800 of these little bits here, the yellow dodecahedron shapes. These yellow dodecahedrons are kind of our currency in the game. We can buy certain upgrades using them, and we want a fair amount of them because the upgrades we need to go fast do cost quite a bit. We'll be going for around 850-ish, give or take. We might get some extra ones just for the safety, but otherwise, you've already seen kind of how we abuse— ooh, I don't get that boost very often. You've kind of seen how we can abuse the air dash already. That there is called a magnet dash, and magnet dashing is one of the bread and butter mechanics of this game's speedrun. Instead of doing a homing attack and just stopping in place, you can actually cancel a homing attack whenever you want by just dashing. And you can see it keeps the speed from the dash, or from the homing attack, but gives you it in your own free reign, so you kind of go wherever you want with it. We can use that all throughout this first stage to go pretty fast while collecting all these bits. This stage, without having to collect the bits, is actually pretty fun. It's much more oriented around actually getting to the goal. It's also a very, very difficult stage to run because, there's a lot of tight movement. Otherwise, we should be good on our bit count. We'll just run on down the little slope there, get some speed. One other thing is that magnet dashing can be done on anything you can homing attack, so that goes as far as enemies. You can do them off the little bit bubbles we used in that stage to collect all those bits we wanted. You can do it on basically anything, even like springs and stuff, but for the most part, we'll only really do them off enemies and bit bubbles. So after skipping that cutscene, we're gonna go ahead, head into the shop. Ooh, that was a mistake. I just mashed A like kinda brainlessly and bought the wrong thing. Oh well, should be fine. I will just simply not buy one of the things I typically do. So we bought 2 things there. We are supposed to buy 3, but so whatever, so be it. So we got the Jester Swipe and the Energy Dash. The Jester Swipe is a pretty straightforward ability. Whenever there is a trail of bits, we can actually just go along them, press the B button, and then Spark will kind of magnetize to them, and it speeds up things quite a bit. You'll see it in some stages here later on, but the other thing we bought is the Energy Dash. The Energy Dash, pretty straightforward ability as well. We can use some of the energy in our top left in order to go to get a big burst of speed. So, we'll be using that quite a bit. It's pretty easy to build energy in this game. You just have to defeat enemies, destroy properties, stuff like that. So, we'll be doing all that in order to go fast. And one thing that the Energy Dash is very, very helpful for is our stages like this, and we're gonna hope that I actually hit the strat now that I've teased it a bit. But the Magnet Dash is just doing a basic dash. That there is a Hyper Dash, and I'm gonna bail out on it. You can go straight into the goal with that, but that was a Hyper Dash, which is the same thing, very, very similar. It's just, instead of doing it with a basic homing attack, or with a basic air dash rather, you do it with the Energy Dash, and you can kind of see just how much speed you can get. It is one of the most important techs in this game because it's what revolutionized this game quite a bit, allowed it to go sub 50 minutes, and now we're below 40 minutes just recently, so we'll be using that quite a lot as a result. This stage is high-rise tracks. Our only goal here is to get to the end, and we'll do a few things to get there a bit faster. Saw that Hyper Dash there, and then boom, Magnet Dash straight into the goal. Decent time. There's a strat on that stage that is way too hard for my tiny little brain. That looks very, very cool. It's in the world record of this game. Whew, that thing is just very, very good. World record, I believe, is 6 minutes or so ahead of second place now, which is wild. Shout out to Squish. That man is an insane gamer. Next, we have Cold Dry Desert here. This is one of our first stage variants, so instead of every stage being just a basic get to the goal, Spark likes to switch it up a bit and do some different things. And in that, we do see quite a lot of gameplay variation from time to time. This stage is not very different. It's really just a stage, but like go fast, because we have a timer at the top. We can't spin too long in the stage. For speedrunners, we're not going to do that anyways. So, you know, we just get through it, but it does introduce kind of differing gameplay. And then next, we're gonna just load into our, actually, we're gonna go into the shop to buy our next upgrade, which would be the regen breaking. We'll use that in a future stage. Don't worry too much about it yet, but it will come in handy later. And then now we're gonna load into Charge Jester Dash. This tutorial, very straightforward. We're just gonna use our little charge up ability to go quite a bit fast. But one small thing I can point out here that we use in this stage, and pretty often throughout the run actually, is something known as a dash jump. Sometimes jumps are too big, and that's just the reality of it. So if you need a little bit of extra height, you can actually just do a air dash right before you jump, and we're going to use that here to climb up this little wall, and then hit the spring there. Perfect, just like that. And we can use that to gain that little bit of extra height that otherwise we wouldn't be able to get. Just climb up into the gold ring. So, quite a lot. But the next stage is a pretty calm little stage. So, we all know the Knuckles stages in SA2. This is vaguely similar in the sense that you're hunting around a stage. Our goal here is to collect 10 blue coins, or medals as this game calls it, and these 10 coins are scattered throughout the stage. We have a very specific route here that allows us to also collect quite a few bits. So we need 500 at the end of this stage. We're gonna do our best to get that amount, but if it doesn't go super well, no big deal. We should be fine. I can just run back into this stage to collect more. I also need you down here. Otherwise, this stage, very straightforward. It took a while to get this stage, like, routed out well. This game has a very interesting history. Strangely, it didn't really take off as a speedrun until, like, a few months after. It was very strange. Like, we had 2 runners run this game, when this game is, like, all about speed for, like, a few months. And it was interesting. I have been running this game since about August, I think. And I mostly did IL runs, which is a lot of our community, granted. So eventually, when I got into any percent, I just kind of did IL strats, which was really funny, and which really wasn't the case beforehand. So it was very interesting the way this game progressed. With that, we're out of AM Village, so we're gonna head back into the shop and buy the rail boost mechanic here. Before that, though, before that becomes relevant in any sense, though. We are going to load into the first boss of this game. So I haven't talked about combat at all. There's a reason for that. Well, it's interesting. You wouldn't expect a high-speed 3D platformer to also have Devil May Cry combat in the game. Like, I'm not kidding. This game's combat is really, really cool. So basically, we have a heavy attack, a light attack, and we're gonna swap them up to try to keep our combo meter high. So you can see it in the top left. We are at 1.9. We want to be at 1.9 at all times. We can additionally parry attacks, which you need to do on this boss because you need to learn the mechanics somehow. And that will give us energy. And we can't use the energy for much right now, but we can use it a bit later. Otherwise, we're gonna use air dashes to cancel out slow moves. We can cancel out the lag by doing quite a lot of things. The most common is air dashing, but you can also do it by jumping. It's pretty cool. There's a lot of cool stuff with combat that we'll see in quite a little bit. Mostly because we won't see it for a fair amount now. Before the next stage, though, this stage is the hardest stage. And we also have to swap into Challenge Jester. There's a reason for this. We'll talk about it in a bit. But this stage looks familiar if you are a Sonic fan. But bunch of rails, big old canyon. We're gonna try our best going fast. Here we're just gonna ride this rail, but otherwise this stage is a lot of hyper dashing because I am a menace. I really enjoy hyper dashing, so I literally just do it in every stage now because it's my favorite mechanic in the game. Hop on over to this roof. We're gonna do a hyper dash off you, aim for this rail, hit it, thank god. That one is a very scary jump. Do some energy dashes here, hit the rail, and we're gonna ride on down. Jump off this rail, and hope we don't hit anything in the air. Very, very good. We're gonna save one sliver of energy for this hyper dash. That was strange because we hit the sidewall, but honestly, that's okay. I'm gonna hop off on here and hit a hyper dash off you to go into this rail super fast. We're gonna zoom on through. Crouch on the one thing we should talk about is actually crouching on rails, because if you go down a rail, you can actually crouch on it to gain a bit of speed. So we're gonna use that quite a lot in this stage. We're gonna try to do a hyper dash. It unfortunately missed. We have a backup right behind us though. No big deal. Land on this rail once more. Use the last sliver of our energy, do a hyper dash off you, and just in the distance is the goal ring. That was a gold. I've never hit a Lost Riviera that good. That was literally like IO world record pace until that last hyper dash. I'm not kidding. That was really, really good. Wow. Sheesh. So, you may remember we swapped to Challenge Jester at the beginning of this stage. That is because we have the Guardian here. The Guardian is a boss, but it's one of those bosses that doesn't care if you win or lose. It's kind of posed as an undefeatable boss because he's really difficult when you start this game, but you can defeat him, and it's just not worth it right now to defeat him. We don't care. We want to go fast, and it's faster to just die there, so that's what we do. All of these stages will unlock, and we'll go to wall jumping. This is just a very, very simple stage. I also need to remember after this stage to swap to Challenge Jester. Chat, be good people and remind me, smiley face. So, we're just going to use some dash jumps here, and one small thing about this game is that not everything is as it seems. We're just going to hit that goal ring from under it. So, we can abuse little stuff like that all the time to go just that little bit faster. Lots of small optimizations in this game that are very, very, very neat. Swap back to Easy Jester, that gives us the most health, and we're gonna skip one of these stages because I believe, oh wait, hold on, I need to do this strat because it's cool, but also difficult. We did hit the all levels incentive, I believe, but it is just faster to go on with the any % route for a little bit and then come back to it later on. There's a few reasons for that, which we'll get into. Otherwise, I horribly butchered this IL strat, but that's okay. This stage just introduces wall running. If you dash against a wall, you can run along it, and that will just get you straight to the goal real fast. One other small thing is that wall jumping off a wall actually increases your speed quite a little bit, so we'll be doing that quite a lot in order to go a bit faster. This is Arid Hole. This is another one of our coin collection stages. This time, though, we don't have to worry about collecting any bits, so really, this stage is all just about going as fast as possible. I may collect a few bits for marathon safety, but typically you do not. Now, hop up, hit this, please. Okay, well, we're falling all the way down today, that's okay. We will just hop back up. Thankfully, backups in this game aren't too difficult. We're not going to even worry about the... Ow, please stop shooting at me. This guy just has a gun. It's very, very cool. Okay, I wanted to do a hyper dash off you, but that's okay. This air hole is it's going. That's the important thing. But, well, would be an overstatement. Regardless, we're just gonna hop around the stage, collect more of these bits. We're gonna actually stop off over by you to collect a backup there. Get the energy there. Collect some of these bits. Also collect you. And then hop into this little alcove to collect the Pest Blue coin. Yeah, that was you know what? That made up for the really good Lost Riviera. It's okay, I had to have my time lost somewhere. But all's well and good. We will hop into our next stage here. We're going to ignore that big red dot and just go into Splash Grotto. Splash Grotto is one of the fastest levels in the game. If it goes well, we'll hope it goes well. So this one's all about rail grinding, which allows me to speak some about our rail grinding mechanics. We can use a bit of energy for... Ow. Okay, well, very strange way to mess that up, but it's okay, we'll still go fast. We can use a bit of our energy in order to boost on rails by just holding down the dash button. And then we also have something called regen braking, which is the opposite. We'll use a little bit of our speed to build up a lot of energy. So we'll trade those two off to go super fast with all the dashes in that stage. Very, very good Splash Grotto. You saw at the end there just how fast we were going. Very, very solid. And then next, we're going to go into the high speeds tutorial, which is ironic, because this stage is way slower than the last one. It's very funnily placed in the route. But this one's honestly just straightforward running. We're gonna avoid using our dashes on the ground, because dashing while you're already going fast actually just slows you down. Otherwise, we're gonna use a move called the down dash in order to keep ourselves on the ground, because it is a bit faster. Of course, the one exception to this is doing these wall jumps. As I said, they are a little bit faster. They give you a little bit of speed. So we'll be doing them in order to just maximize our speed there. But we'll just hit these last few boosters into the goal. Easy, just like that. Very straightforward stage. Once again, very funny, because it comes right after the probably fastest stage in the game. And then next, we're actually gonna go back to Challenge Jester, same reasoning as before. We have the Guardian after this stage, the District 5 of Protest Prison. This area may also look familiar if you're a Sonic fan, don't worry about it. But we're gonna hop on up here because we're gonna do another Hyper Dash. This stage is actually very, very different from it was a few weeks ago, or a few months ago, rather. We're gonna try to get a Hyper Dash there. Okay, we did. We hit the wall. Oh well. Is what it is. We want to kind of soar over the stage, at least on 1.1. I am playing on an older patch. It's really easy to down patch in this game, thankfully, but we are playing on an older patch for reasons that we'll get into in the ending of this run. But one thing that means is that... Oh, I took damage there, okay. We need to just play a bit differently compared to what other patches might do. There's a strat that apparently just doesn't work in 1.1 as fast as it does in 1.2, which is the current version. No idea why, but it doesn't. So I don't do it. I just stick with my Hyper Dash strat. You may notice we're building up a lot of energy and definitely not going the intended path here. If I could get on this wall, please. There we go. Here we have something called a gravity clip, and so if we run to the top of the stage, the top of that roof, that big old wall, we can climb up it as long as we maintain speed, because this game shifts your gravity to allow you to do certain maneuvers. We can actually just, whew, that was a sick Hyper Dash. We can actually just jump right as our gravity shifts back, and that will allow us to actually just clip through the wall. So we do that to cut out a very, very long portion of this stage. That skips about a minute of the stage here, which thank the Lord we found that, because whew, that minute is real rough. Thank you for that, Jester Dash. Thanks. Appreciate it. This stage is a bit treacherous at the end here because everything's on fire. We have to avoid the fire, especially since we're on 1 health. But the ending here, just a quick little auto-scroller. We skipped these in level, but you just turn around by going left and right. You'll see more of these later, don't worry. But yeah, no, the IL record for this stage is about 40 seconds, which if you're looking at my timer, that's a big difference. There's reasons for that. There are a lot of strats in Indie% that we just can't do because we don't have the right resources. But of course, IL runs can use whatever they want. So we'll see, hopefully, the trick that allows that later on. But this is the Guardian. We're just gonna take another death. Pretty basic. Skip through the cutscenes. On to our next stage, which is actually the only other stage we do in the Indie% route from Protest Prison, which we don't spend a lot of time in this area. Swap back to Easy Jester, because we are also done with the tutorials, which is a great time to bring up why we even do the tutorials in the first place. Did I go to the wrong stage? I did. Okay, neat. That's interesting time loss. So why do we do those tutorials? Surely we know how to play the game. It's actually just because we need a certain amount of levels completed in order to progress through the game. It really is just that simple. And tutorials tend to be pretty fast, so that's what we do. Here, we're gonna... Yeah, nice! We hit the kind of IL strat. There, it's just 2 hyper dashes straight into the goal. That level is very, very wide open, so we can just explode straight to the goal. Very, very cool strat there. That unlocks our next level, but we're gonna ignore it once again. Before this stage... Okay, no, never mind. I was thinking about going into the shop and buying something, but we don't need it, necessarily. We're on East Jester, so no worries about difficulty either. This is Downtown Descent. This is one of my favorite levels because this level, for a very long time in Indie%, was kind of just played casually, but like faster. So, I was upset about this because I am a little menace that doesn't like levels not having good strats. So, I came into this level and I ruined everything. I'm so sorry to any Indie% runners in chat. Because, yeah, no, this was... It was my fault. My bad. So this stage now is just a lot of hyper dashes. All of them are pretty precise. That one there is really bad to actually miss. Should be fine, but... Ow. Pain. Actually, just hit... okay, well, we'll go up the zipline here. I wanted to do a hyper dash off that yellow bit bubble, but that's fine. Sure? That is strange. We might just die here. Never mind. We're good. That's a very strange way to miss that jump. Should be fine. We have backups. Hopefully. That work. Hopefully. We will grab, instead, this hyper dash. But yeah, I came into this stage. I ruined it. I'm sorry, Indie% runners. My fault. But I think it's actually very cool. Because... This stage's IL strat now is super, super fun. I grinded it for a very long time, so I'm thankful that no one has beaten my time, because I would be sad. Otherwise, we're just gonna do more hyper dashes here, grab this little blue bubble, hit the wall, apparently, because, of course. It wouldn't be a spark run without a bunch of spaghetti. So we're just gonna dash on through here. Should be fine. Thankfully, this stage has a lot of open space once again, so we can literally just, like, hit a bunch of stuff, and it's fine, because there's surely gonna be a building under us. Don't quote me on that, though. I've lost runs by just hitting a wall and then not having a checkpoint, because that route actually avoids like all the checkpoints, so it's playing it super risky, especially for a marathon. But it's fine. I'm good at this game, smiley face. I think, anyways. Hopefully. Well, we're in this little ship. Very straightforward ship here. We just boost the whole time, shoot the whole time. We actually want to collect a little bit of extra bits, and this game wants us to kill this mini-boss, but we're good, thanks. No problem. Just gonna hop through the little gap. Very, very, very funny strat because we just avoid the dude. There's just a gap in the wall, so we use it. Why not? But that was Downtown Descent, one of the craziest levels in this route. Very, very, very cool level. I like it a lot. Next up, we actually have Strike Sewers here, and this stage is... It's more ship, but it's not a lot of ship. So the ship that we used earlier comes back. Or, I say earlier as if it was like 30 minutes ago. No, it was literally like 30 seconds ago. This ship comes back, and we're actually just gonna take it out of bounds. We can just wedge ourselves between two pieces of collision, go out of bounds, and we will fly straight to the goal. It's very strange flying in the void, but you can see the end of the level just load in there. We're gonna hop out of our ship into the goal using the little energy at the end that we have from the beginning. So, wow, 39-second time. That's actually, like, really good. Or maybe it's really bad. Maybe I'm mixing up my levels. Who knows? Doesn't matter, we got through the stage. Next up, we have Squabble Spillway, which, again, pretty straightforward level. It's just collecting tin medals. Immediately, we're gonna turn around. No one knew about that medal for the longest time. Very, very funny. Hop on down. That medal behind us allows us to skip one that's also way, way, way further down in the little crevice that we just ran past. Otherwise, this stage is pretty straightforward, but it allows me to talk some about double down dashing. In this game, it is faster to actually just hit down dash twice, because it will make you fall a little bit faster. And so we'll be running on through using those double down dashes in order to fall down. The stage is a lot of falling. It's also quite unfortunate if you miss a medal, because they're going back to the top and collecting the very bad backup. But hey, it's fine. We can progress on through. We didn't make any mistakes. This stage is also pretty straightforward, and we're gonna die as intended death. It was RNG manipulation, don't worry about it. Hit a magnet dash off you, collect just the blue bubble there. Blue bubbles, by the way, give you energy. I don't know if I ever explained that. But we're gonna fly on up to the goal, hit the goal, just perfect. Thank the Lord. See, that was that RNG manipulation. It was a manipulation for my height, because it feels RNG. It isn't, but it feels like it. So, yeah, that stage pretty straightforward. We just fly into the goal. It's very funny. Next up, we have Roadway Rally, which wants us to use the car, but we're not going to use the car because the car is slower. Spark runs faster than cars, and it is actually provable. I don't know how he does that, but that's fine. That's strange. We're gonna actually just back up a little bit. Alright, so we want to run on this wall once again, very similar to some other strats, but we're gonna run up this wall, and instead of anything out of bounds, we're actually gonna just go kind of inbounds, for the most part. Hop on over, make it just barely, whew, and then hop on over the roof here, and we're skipping a very, very long track that just so happens to loop around on itself there. We're gonna fall straight into the goal, face plant. Very, very funny strat. This game has a lot of funny strats, where we just go out of bounds and then hit the goal from all the way over. Very fun. But next up, we have another boss on the run here. This boss we do actually have to fight. Its first phase is this big old ship. We'll get real close, and when we have a full energy bar in the top left, we're gonna just target one of the other weak spots and shoot our missiles at it. That will instantly destroy it, and we will progress real fast. And that was that part. And now that isn't Spark, that is, that's Float. we play as a different character in this part. This is Sheriff Bear Trap. He's very annoying, but pretty straightforward. He has these little blue attacks that are just puddles on the ground and are very annoying to run into, but it's fine, we didn't do that. Otherwise, we just beat him down real fast. And then after this level, we will actually unlock Float and be able to play as her. So, we'll hop back into the shop to go ahead and pick her up, because this next stage might be useful with her. Not necessarily, but might be. Who knows? So, next up we have my personal favorite stage. Everything about this stage just goes so hard, and it has really cool strats. This is Nighttime Phenomenal. Immediately in the stage, you just turn around, fail a jump because, of course, hit the blue bubble there, hyper dash off you, and then you can see these. I don't want to risk it right now. So these little platforms operate off a timer, so we have to hit the right cycle, which means that we're gonna wait for that cycle, but afterwards we're gonna use the bubble, hit a hyper dash. We're gonna go around a very long portion of the stage. We skip quite a lot by doing that, and then we're going to hit a kill plane, but that kill plane just so happens to be right beside a checkpoint. And in this game, even if you die, the physics don't stop, and neither does the game calculation. So, we actually just hit the checkpoint while we're dead, and despite it all, we somehow spawn back at the checkpoint perfectly alive, because this game doesn't use a life system, thank the Lord. Otherwise, this stage doesn't have any massive glitches. It's just a lot of hyper dashing, a lot of going real fast. Dash on through these little rail segments. This part of the stage tends to go a lot faster because we actually have the upgrades that we would, but we don't. That's fine. We have that little hallway where we have just some enemies to kill. We skipped one of those encounters. There's actually a second hallway that we have to use, but we're gonna avoid it for now. Otherwise, we're gonna hop on through another rail section here, very straightforward. Just dash on through when you can. Crouch on down there, build up a lot of speed, and then, lose it all. That's okay. No biggie, we're just gonna hop to the goal. Typically there, you can do a Jester swipe at the end of that stage in order to get back your speed, kind of, because it kind of stores it for you whenever you hit that those boosters, but don't know how. I didn't do it right. Not really sure, but that's fine. Next up, we have two more stages. First and foremost, Dropship Daybreak. This is another one of those coin collection stages with a twist. So, we're gonna grab that medal first, turn around, grab this medal, and drop on down here. But when we collect this medal, we're going to restart from checkpoint. Very similar shenanigans to what happened in the last stage. We actually just want to collect it while we're dying, because it'll put us back to a better spawn point. And then we're gonna hop on through. We have this big old dropship here. You may guess that's where the title comes from, because that is in fact where the title of this stage comes from. Gonna destroy all these enemies, collect that bit bubble just for some extra bits, some extra safety, then hop into this part of the stage. This guy's very annoying. Hyper dash off you, nice, very good. To walk back out to a different stage. This whole stage's gimmick is that it swaps around whenever you hit that ship. So, that's what we do. Hit that ship, come back out to collect the rest of those coins. That was a very good stage. We're gonna hop into the next stage, which I believe is Heaven Park. Yep, Heaven Park. Somehow I didn't remember that. It's been a while. Heaven Park is flashing lights warning because we go very fast and these tiles on the ground makes it a bit strange to look at, but that's okay. So we're gonna do a bunch of Jester swipes in this first portion of the stage to build up a lot of speed, and then do a magnet dash off you, do a energy dash. This stage, no. Okay, this stage is really cool when you hit the IL strat. The IL strat is very difficult, so, oh well, is what it is. Instead, we're just gonna back it up as best we can, should be fine. Can I? Thank you. We're gonna collect that energy bubble, and then we're going to... Okay, we're gonna fail the hyper dash. That's okay. That's fine, we have a backup there. Fly to the end of the level. This stage is really sick when you do the strat right. It's one of my favorites when we go super fast, but is what it is. Can't hit every strat. So, we're gonna just hit the goal there. That is fine, no biggie. We're gonna go ahead and head into the shop real fast, because we have a few upgrades to buy before the next few stages, because all of those stages revolve around the combat in the game. So, we're gonna hop into the extra powers and buy the Hyper Surge. You'll see what that does in a little bit. And otherwise, I think we're just gonna buy the Charge Shot, because I forgot to do that a lot earlier. It's fine. So, we have to collect a few more levels in order to progress to our next boss, but the other levels are slow. So instead of doing all that, we're gonna hop into Canyon 0 here, and we're going to just destroy all these enemies. Canyon 0 is a very unique stage in the sense that it's the only raid stage in the game. Raid stages operate off of the point system in the game. So you want to collect a certain score goal. The only reason this is the only stage in the game is like this is because apparently during testing people didn't really like raid stages, which I don't understand because I really enjoy that stage. It's very cool. It's very wide open and there's a lot to explore there. Unfortunately, we're going fast, so we're not going to do that. We're just gonna do a very straightforward path where we kill a bunch of enemies and then destroy a big enemy, and that guy gets us all of the points that we need. Next up, we have Beatdown Tower, which is just more defeating all the enemies, but this stage, a bit different. Instead, it's kind of just an enemy wave rush, and this gives us time to talk about two things. First and foremost is the, actually three things. First and foremost is the finger gun, as I call it, the Charge Shot. Pretty simple ability, actually. It's just a finger gun that we can press, or it's just one button we press, and then we have a little shot there where it will damage enemies when we do it, and we can charge it up to deal more damage to any enemies around us. Next, we have the Spin Charge, which is our main ability in this stage. Very useful. It's just a big charge-up attack. We saw it some in Canyon 0 as well. That's the ability I accidentally bought at the very beginning of this run. Thankfully, we use it, so, like, buying it accidentally is not a massive time loss. It just means you can't use the charge shot for quite a while. But all is good. We'll defeat the last enemy there. And then the last ability we have to talk about is the Hyper Surge. Hyper Surge is just a big explosion that we'll be using in the next stage as well, because it's another enemy, defeat the enemy stage. We went into this one earlier by accident. District 4. Everything is still on fire. Glad to see that they haven't figured that one out. Otherwise, just more of the same, more defeating enemies. We'll want to save, kind of save our energy for big waves with strong enemies, because the Hyper Surge. Hyper Surge is a big explosion that will damage all enemies that in its radius with a lot of damage. So we'll want to use that when we have big enemy waves that otherwise might be slow to just defeat. I believe this is one. Yep, just stand in the center there, you can hit both of them. Otherwise, more of the same. Oh, I guess we can also talk about one last ability, the float mark here. Float's face mark is a ability that float brings us. It is a very useful combat ability where when you're attacking enemies, you'll get a little red face on them on your targeting reticle. Right there, you can see it. We'll actually just use our hyper surge there. That's fine. That face mark will basically store 20 attacks. And when those 20 attacks hit an enemy, or it will basically count 20 attacks. And when you have hit an enemy 20 times, it will explode the enemy into the air, which is very useful for, especially for this next stage, Throwback. This is the hardest boss in the game. We have 3 phases in this stage. First is, I believe, Flint here. Or no, this is, what's his name? I'm forgetting it. I can't believe I'm forgetting it. I'm such a big Spark fan. I really can't remember this dude, huh? Okay, well, he's gone. Doesn't matter. This is EJ. I can never forget this dude. He's annoying. And all of these bosses are actually from the last game in the series, Spark the Electric Jester 2, where you don't actually play as Spark. These are all enemies Spark encountered during his journey through that game. Which is why we have the question marks on their name. And why I can't remember them, because I didn't play Spark the Electric Jester 2. There we go. I got out of that one. So we're gonna go ahead, kill all the 3 stages, the 3 phases, and uh-oh, there's a new one. Double! This guy's name is Double! I figured it out, chat! Let's go. This guy, we're just gonna wait for his health bar to appear, and then we're gonna explode him. And that guy's pretty easy. Sub-minute throwback? I'll honestly take that. It wasn't a 1 cycle. You can kill all of those enemies in 1 cycle each, see them all one time, but we didn't do that. You see Reaper Jester unlocked here. We're not going to use him. Don't worry about it. At least until later. But we're going to hop back into our extra moves to buy the Cloud Shot. Cloud Shot will come in handy in a few levels, but first we have to catch our flight here in Airstrip Madness. This next area is a big ol' airport. We're not going to go inside of the airport. We're going to swap over to Float to climb up this wall. This is another one of those grabby clips we mentioned at the start of the of District 5. We're going to just hop on through. And in the out-of-bounds area here, we're going to charge up with Spark. Spark does move a bit faster than Float, I believe, so we're gonna prioritize him. Float's just helpful for getting up that wall. And then do a few wall jumps off of the walls here, because it adds a bit of speed. You can see, whoo, we're going fast. Wide open area, thankfully, so nothing too much to worry about, but we will hop into the booster here. The goal of this stage is on this airplane, so we're gonna just hop on up. And, hit a bunch of lasers. Sure, that works. Not like we're in any danger or anything. We're gonna come to the end of this tube, and we're gonna run up the wall. And this is one of the first applications of grabby clips that were ever found. We're gonna hop on through to that little tube to the end of the stage. Clip on through. Very, very cool strat. Don't try that in an actual airplane. I don't think it'll work. But also, actually go through an airport security line before going on an airplane. That might also benefit you. Should be fine. Next up, we have 2-stage liftoff. This stage is honestly very difficult. There's an IL strat here. We're going to turn around, collect 4 of these little energy capsules that will give us some extra energy, because we'll want to use it in this little rail boost segment. That's fine. Really don't think this is fine. I'm gonna collect a bit of energy here. Unfortunate we didn't hit the IL strap, but honestly expected at this point, because it's very difficult. It is what it is. We're gonna just hit the booster there, hop on up here. We have a nice backup strat where we can instead just use this enemy and a couple of cloud shots. Cloud shots is an ability that takes 1 energy bar and will allow us to kind of suspend gravity for a little bit. We can also use it to gain quite a lot of height. You'll see it also in this next stage, but, you know, 2-stage liftoff. Very, very helpful, that cloud shot there. That's why we buy it right before this area. So, this is suborbital scramble. Somehow, this airport had a rocket ship that you saw in the last section, and that rocket ship takes us to space, and now we're in space. This game kind of does what it wants. In this game, or in this stage, we have an air meter, which is kind of this little bubble around Spark, and we have to refresh it every now and then. Or we could just do this. I'm gonna hit a hyper dash off of one of the energy bubbles there, and use a bunch of cloud shots in order to just fly all the way up. Hit the spring here and into the goal. That was really good for a suborbital scramble. Honestly, that stage is also very difficult. It's 100% run killer. It didn't get put into the route for a very long time. We would just opt to do different things, because that stage, ooh, it's rough. But we got it first try. We'll take it. And then one last stage here, Mayday Midday, before we wave goodbye to our airport friends. This, I believe, takes place after we hijack the airplane in Midday, or in Airstrip Madness. And now it's going down. So we have to get off the airplane. We're gonna just dive off the back of it. But once again, we're gonna do another one of those tube flips I mentioned. There we go. And then one more here. The goal of the stage. The goal is right behind there, so we're just gonna dash straight into it and hop off the back of the cargo plane. Woo! Very, very fast stage with that strat. It is a very long stage. Otherwise, you have a timer in that stage because it's an escape stage and it takes a while. Next up, we have. Do we have any mecha fans in the chat? Because whew, this game just throws a mecha fight out of nowhere to you. It's fine. We are going against the. I'm trying real hard to read that. Doesn't look great in low graphics. The Greater Guardian, I believe, is his name. And we're gonna just do jump kicks, because it's the fastest way to kill him. It kind of stun locks him in his first phase until he hits half health, where he will actually just kind of play through it. He counters us. It's okay though. We're gonna just defeat him there. That was a decent Mecha Madness. Honestly, I can't do much else other than just kind of jump kicks. But pretty good stage, pretty good boss fight there. That is the only boss fight in this game like that at all. Like I said, this game kind of just does what it wants, and you know what? I respect it. I respect it. And the next stage, well, next 3 stages are all kind of weird. Before that, we have a fall damage tutorial. We're at the end of the run, by the way. We have a tutorial at the end of the game about fall damage. To explain what fall damage does, it's fall damage. If you fall for too long, you will die. Like that. You die like that. Ooh, that's fun. So, we're just gonna do that again. Hopefully not get our jump eaten by the down dash. There we go. One downside of double down dashing is actually that you can get your jump eaten, and that's what happened there. Believe me, I'm not making excuses, please. I'm not coping. It really does happen. It's actually very annoying, but you tend to play around it instead of what I did, which is not play around it. And that fall damage tutorial will lead us into Deep Descent. You can kind of imagine by the name. This stage is a very, very long fall. And the dev of the game, like Feppard, shout out, he's a great game developer. very excited for his next project, which is an F-Zero clone. Lake Pepper didn't want us just falling to the end of the stage, because that would kind of cut out all the cool platforming areas that he made alongside the stage. You're supposed to run down this stage with a bunch of platforming sections that you do. Oh, I died again. That's awkward. It's fine. I have a checkpoint up here. Just come back up. It's fine. But Lake Pepper didn't want us falling all the way down the stage. But sorry, but we're gonna do that anyways. Because I introduced you probably for one of the last times the Infinite Fall. This tech is kind of groundbreaking for any percent, or at least it was for a very long time. This is abusing a mechanic of the Hyper Surge that we picked up earlier. Hyper Surge is a big explosion, and it has a little wind-up at the beginning of it that we're still actionable for. Notably, that wind-up actually stops our momentum, and all fall damage cares about is if you have downwards momentum. It doesn't care. As long as you stop your momentum downwards, it will count you as not falling anymore, and so it'll reset the fall damage timer. So we're going to use Hyper Surge in order to abuse that mechanic of fall damage and just keep falling. However, if we had Hyper Surge, that would use all of our energy meter, right? Well, not if you don't use it. So instead of using Hyper Surge and letting it complete, what we'll do instead is actually just cancel it by blocking the attack. So we'll still have our energy from Hyper Surge, but we won't. But we will get the benefits of the windup of the Hyper Surge because we cancel it during the windup, which allows us to fall all the way down this level and just into the goal. Well, onto some rails and then into the goal. Took a safety checkpoint there, but this strat for a very long time was thought that it would revolutionize any percent. It would make the game so much faster, and for a while, it did. Until a runner by the name of Squish, current world record holder, I shouted him out at the beginning of this run, he came in and played on the newest patch, which didn't have Infinite Fall. This has been patched out. And he routed out this stage and the next stage to be so incredibly hard, but actually faster than Infinite Fall. So we don't even use it if we were going for a world record. The only reason I'm not doing Infinite Fall is because honestly I haven't had time to learn the 1.2 strats. But this is actually probably going to be one of my last runs in version 1.1, because this next stage is crazy without Infinite Fall. But before that, Utopia Shelter, we have a boss fight. This is the final stage of the run, unless we're doing all levels, in which case we do actually swap to, do some levels after this. But for all intents and purposes, any percent, this is the last stage. Before that, we have a fight with the Guardian. Nice juggles there, I'm gaming. This stage, or this fight is pretty straightforward. We can't just kill or die to the Guardian anymore. We do actually have to defeat him. So, we'll beat him up some. I didn't even have to use Hyper Surge, nice. And then, unfortunately, this energy won't carry over to the actual stage. There's a loading screen, so we lose that energy. But shouldn't matter, we should be able to collect it real fast. Like I said, we're doing another Infinite Fall in this stage, which part of me is actually pretty happy about, because this next stage is one of my favorites, is probably my favorite stage from any video game ever made. It is absolutely massive. For context, I should clarify that the last stage took us 3 minutes. That stage casually is supposed to take you about 7 minutes. It is a massive stage, D% is a behemoth. This stage is supposed to take you about 15 to 20 on your first playthrough. we're gonna do it in about 7, maybe 8, depending on our luck. Because instead of going through the stage normally, we're actually just going to collect all of our energy here, a full energy bar, meaning we can use the Hyper Surge. Then we're going to run up this wall at the top, jump out, and now we're out of bounds. And we're gonna run all the way back towards this big old wall in the back. There's actually a little gap we can squeeze through to head outside the wall here. So we're gonna just run on through. And by little gap, I mean the whole wall doesn't have collision, so, you know, quite a small gap. But now we are actually out of bounds. You can see, it looks like we're out of bounds. And we're gonna run towards the edge of the stage. This little platform here, big old landscape, will end at some point, and we'll want to hop on down. That's good. Do a charge Jester dash, and then this is where I actually need to focus, because you see that big old tower down there. That is where we're headed. It's gonna take us 5 minutes. So I'm gonna focus up. I'm gonna play it safe. If we fail this, it kind of depends on how we fail it, but if we do miss it, we will lose quite a bit of time. Thankfully, my estimate accounts for it. We're plenty ahead of estimate as it goes, so hopefully we don't fail it. If we do, that's fine, no biggie. So, my host, you're finally speaking, congrats. If we have any messages, any donations, now would be a great time for them, because while I focus up here.
We haven't had anything new come in, but your donations will support No Kid Hungry, which is a charity dedicated to providing meals for children in need, as well as supporting food banks and community groups that serve the areas that need it most. They provide emergency grants and expert guidance to schools and local community groups to help feed kids.
Yeah, very good cause we're here for. Definitely get your donations in. I will also ask, just to make sure, because maybe it's wrong on the stream layout, it's fine. We did indeed hit that all levels incentive, right?
Yes, we did.
Alright, cool. So you'll get to see all the levels in this game. This won't be our last stage, but we're still gonna do it anyways, because all levels is actually just a category where the last level you beat is when time is called, so, you know, it's fine. I'm gonna have to undo a couple of splits, but it is what it is. I also kind of want to see my 100% time, because this is a pretty good RTA base, for what it's worth. But we have about 2 more minutes of this fall, so still just concentrating. You can imagine how stressful this is when you're on pace to world record or PB. And it's not even faster. And doing like actual IL strats. Which, this is a great time to actually mention. Part of me is happy that we don't do Utopia Shelter in its intended method, because that leaves all the surprises for you. If you go play this game, it's only, I believe, $25 now, but it goes on sale pretty often. It gets regular updates as well, hence why we're on version 1.1, and we have version 1.2. So, definitely go support this game. Very, very cool game. If you like high-speed platforming, it's for you. If you like good platforming, it's for you. It's a solid good time. But Utopia Shelter is a behemoth of a stage, and there are a lot of surprises. And part of me is pretty happy we do the Infinite Fall. I know a lot of the casual player base is like, oh, but we want to see Utopia Shelter in its intended way, which, okay, yeah, I get it. That's fair. But I personally like when we kind of don't spoil the surprise, because there are a lot of really cool things in this stage. Definitely my favorite of all time, just because it's super long, it's a lot of different twists and turns, lots of story significance too. We haven't talked about it at all, but this game's story is actually good. At least I think so. It's confusing, but once you understand it, it's good. with that, we are approaching the end of our pull. You can see this little platform beneath us. The 4 orange little rods sticking out of that wall. However, I do think even if I do enjoy the Infinite Fall, this is going to be one of the last times I do it, because I want to contend for the world record in this game, because this game's cool. I enjoy it a lot. And there are a lot of strats in 1.1 that are just slower. A good Utopia shelter without Infinite Fall is actually quite a bit faster. It's about 30 seconds than a non-Infinite Fall, or than the Infinite Fall version. But with that said and done, we have the Infinite Fall complete. We are going to hop on through the next section, grab a checkpoint. By the way, that's all done without a checkpoint, so if you die at any point in time, you're going back to the start of the stage. Thankfully, the timing on the Infinite Fall is not super strict. If it was, it probably wouldn't be doing it. I probably wouldn't be doing it right now. But we will just fly, apparently. We're supposed to ride these rails the whole time, but you know what? That's fine. It's pretty strange. We want to build up a full energy bar once again. There's one more Infinite Fall in this game, but it's at the end of the stage. It's also only about 25 seconds instead of 5 minutes, so good stuff. This last section is just one last run towards the end goal. And you may think, oh, surely this dude's done with all the very long, in-depth technical commentary, right? No, I'm not. I will never be done with that. How dare you assume that? We actually have one last tech that really only applies in this stage and part of Airstrip Madness. I did it earlier, but we have wall jump dashes. Wall jumping gives you a lot of speed. However, you can actually combine that with a down dash, and you can see just how much faster we're going compared to just running. It gives you a lot of speed, and as we do those, we can run a lot faster through the last run there, and we have now the tunnel. The tunnel that is about 30 seconds just running down. Not a big deal. This stage, at this point, we can't be hurt. We have a checkpoint at the end here. We'll collect for a bit of safety. But we're approaching the end. So, hit the checkpoint, turn right around. One more Infinite Fall as the white void opens into the red void and consumes us, because this game's weird. Is what it is, but we'll keep on falling down. There we go. And now we have another white void, but we're actually looking for one place. The bunch of blocks designating that the end goal is just down this hole. Almost got the slam dunk there, but an 8-minute 50-second safe strat Utopia shelter. I'll take that. Plenty happy with that. Next, we have 2 boss fights. The next 2 boss fights pretty straightforward, but before then, we do have some cutscenes that explain some of the ending story, and then we have the line work fight. 1, this place looks awesome, Jesus, but 2, we have the 3 phases to this fight, much like Throwback. First, we have the line work beast, and we're actually not playing as Spark right now, we're playing as Bart. Spark, of course, being the character that we play in Spark the Electric Jester 2. You don't actually play as Spark in that game, interestingly. But we're just gonna try to defeat this guy. He's jumping around a lot. Fortunate. There we go. While this guy is turning into the Linework Reaper, we're going to try to build up the combo meter quite a bit. I didn't do a great job maintaining it there, but Linework Reaper tends to be a bit nicer. There we go. And then one last phase to this first boss. It's actually Linework Spark. The story here is not of much significance, but we're basically saving Spark here. run out, we're going to then use our one ability that we have. You can see that our little D-pad at the bottom is empty. Static mode, which just heals us and deals a bit of damage, plus a little explosion. We'll use that to beat up Spark real nice, real fast. Run off into the red while the level transitions. Why not? Not like we can die after that point anyways. So, next. Another few cutscenes. We're just gonna skip through them, but we're coming up on time for any percent. I won't stop the timer since we're doing all levels. This is boss fight, all right. This is Centralis, Claritas Centralis, the main antagonist of this game. This is the only time you really see her in the main story, but she does come back in future DLC, because this game actually gets DLC. You'll see it after we finish the Spark 3 campaign. This game's DLC is pretty interesting, pretty cool. But we're going to just beat up this big ol' alien that is very annoying. Is what it is. And when the screen fades to black, that will be time for any percent. I will stop my timer, show off the IGT, because why not? But we will get into all levels. Oh, never mind. I won't. Okay. my timer is not splitting for some reason. That is what it is. A 48:18. That's a really good any percent time. Only about 4 minutes off my PB. We'll swap back to real time as we go into the credits here. It's Friday Night Funkin', and I don't know. There's an actual playable version of that credit sequence. Very funny. But don't have time to show it off, because we're going to load into the all levels portion. We actually play the levels afterwards, because we need a few, a bit of help. After the ending of the campaign, we get quite a lot of bits, which allows us to buy some extra goodies. You can see here, Area X, Special Throwback, that's the first DLC. We won't be doing that. Instead, we'll go to our first stage. We're gonna do Endless Hall here. Endless Hall is a very interesting stage, because we use a glitch that literally doesn't get used in any other stage. You'll notice we have a float still on our hotbar. But this is fully intentional, as the strat for this stage actually uses her, which is wild. It actually requires her. We'll see if we can get it. It is kind of dependent on RNG. It's pretty luck-based, but hopefully we'll get it. Float has a very strange homing attack that is unlike the rest of the game's characters, where instead, oh no, I actually got it, and then the dude flew off. Alright, that's fine. We'll just do the stage as is intended. No cool out-of-bounds shenanigans for you in this stage. But the strat there is basically what is known as a float clip. Float has a very strange homing attack that is unlike all the other characters in this game. Instead of just hopping on the person, or on the enemy slash thing they're homing attacking, she will instead just kind of snap to them. And we can use that to clip through walls if the enemy is on the other side of the wall. Just so happens we have an enemy that will actually damage you if you do a normal homing attack right there for us. Just after that little, weird segment there, health enemies. Just after that checkpoint that we touched quite a while back, we have a little spiny enemy, and you can't actually homing attack those without taking damage. That is, unless you parry it first, which you can actually do. No way, I got locked into the mandatory combat sequence. That's unfortunate. Well, you're gonna see some actual mandatory combat. Typically we skip this by going around it, but I got unlucky with the jumps, is what it is. But we just use that little spiny enemy to push him through the wall and then flip out. Unfortunately, didn't hit it here, but is what it is. You can't hit all of the strats, so we'll just go to the next stage, which is actually one that I'm going to try a new route on that I haven't done before. It's fine. I'll hit it, surely. Next up is Balloon Fiesta. This stage is very cute, actually. It's pretty funny. It's covered in these air balloons, hot air balloons. I got there. And then we have these little balloons that we can bounce off of. We're gonna ignore all that though, and hit a hyper dash off you. This hyper dash will allow us to hop to the end of the stage here. And then we're going to do a hyper dash off the actual balloon there. That skips a mandatory combat sequence. And then we're going to do the same off of this balloon. Never mind, we hit it. Oh well, more mandatory combat. But we can actually skip all of the combat here by just going fast enough. Combat will close you in. Mandatory combat we haven't even seen in the run because we skip all of it. These stages are just a lot harder to hit them in. The mandatory combat in this game basically just locks you into a little wall, and we tend to just go fast enough to ignore it. Sometimes though you can't, and that's just how it goes. Next up, we have 3 different stages, and all of them use a pretty similar technique. First, we'll go to District 9, another protest prison stage that we'll be going through. District 9 is a pretty straightforward stage casually, but in the IL version of it, it's actually probably the slowest stage in the game that isn't Utopia Shelter. Okay, I didn't hit that, really. Oh, well, never mind. I know why I didn't hit that. It's because I went on the wrong bubble. That's what it is. But in this stage, we'll actually be using Fark, because Fark, after the game finishes, after you complete the main campaign, actually does become playable. We're actually going to stop by down here, and nice. Oh, okay. Surely this is fine. There we go. Fark becomes playable, and Fark has an interesting property to his dash, as do a few different characters in this game. Fark will actually be intangible for his dash, meaning that you can dash through certain obstacles. The oversight in this game, you can see there's some of the intangible dashing. The oversight with this dash is that certain walls don't behave properly. I don't know if I'd say properly, but, you know, they don't behave like you'd probably expect. If I could hit this. Okay, whatever. We're just gonna continue on. They don't behave like you'd probably expect, and so we can actually just dash through certain walls. This only applies in really 2 stages, or 2 areas. That would be Dringan Desert, the desert area that we were in earlier in the run. We'll go back to it for 1 stage, but you'll see in a little bit. And then this area, Protest Prison, because the outside walls are programmed differently so that you can't run on them or anything, otherwise you'd just be able to go to the top and climb over a bunch of stuff. So you just slide off it. And I guess the way that Lake programmed these just has them marked as like obstacles or something that allows intangible dashes to clip through them. And we call those Reaper clips, or in this case I guess it'd be a Fark clip, because the first way we found out you could do those was through the Reaper Jester, another ability that we're not using in this run, because Fark is just better, and since we're going to complete the game anyways, we'll knock him anyways. So we just use him to do them. And that's what all these next 3 stages actually use, are Reaper clips. And so, we'll start out this next stage, District 79, by collecting some energy, collecting a bit more energy, and then we'll actually do a different technique called a Jester Swipe clip. Okay, I got stuck in the wall, never mind. I'm going back to checkpoint. So, in certain scenarios, there we go, you can actually just clip through walls by Jester swiping through them, because the Jester swipe doesn't check for collision between the Jester swipe and the whatever, or the bits that you're grabbing and whatever is between you. So we can actually just use that to go through the mandatory combat sequence there. We'll do another Reaper clip into this section of the stage. And then we're hoping, I'm hoping to hit this. Nice! I did it! I've only done that like twice in my life! That strat, we just hyper dash off an enemy. The enemy lets us go fast enough to pass through the mandatory combat at the end of that stage. If I didn't hit that, I had a backup, but we hit it, so nice. You got to see the fast strats. The current world record in that stage is terrible, and I can say that because it's me who has that world record. Please someone beat it, it's so bad. The only reason it's still record is because I hit the strat that I hit there, and is what it is. But this next stage, Lost Ravine, is a lot of kind of the same. We're going to be grinding on some rails. Instead, also banger track in this stage. You heard it earlier, I believe, but man, it's just good. Something is to be said about the soundtrack in this game. Just all of the songs are bangers. But we're gonna do another Reaper clip there. Hit some bad collision. Hop on up. You can see the goal in the distance. Thankfully, Spark actually has 2 air dashes that he can use. So we're gonna use them to hop on over to the goal, complete that stage. And then, one last stage. Oh, my timer accidentally stopped. Let's back up a bit. Oopsie. You can see every other stage is complete, so this will be when time really is Aviator Highway. And I saved this one for last because it's a great time for shoutouts, because this stage is another Reaper clip, except it's a minute of running afterwards. Because this stage is typically a car stage, and you take the car all the way through, but we can just do this instead, and it's faster. Just run straight to the goal. But, great time for shoutouts. So, first and foremost, thank you to SpeedGaming for having me on. You guys, honestly, being able to show off Spark is just, I like this game a whole lot. It's my favorite speedrun of all time. I like doing it a whole bunch. So, appreciate it. Appreciate you guys letting me do it. Interesting, I didn't know you could just go under that. Spark is great. If you like this game, definitely go check it out. If you like how it looks, like how glitchy it is, like the strats, definitely go check it out. It's a great time casually. I would highly recommend it. I've been Spark pilling all my friends, so, you know, need a few more in there. Shout out, of course, to the Spark community, Mimic, Jedi, Squish, Tukazoo. You guys all rock. There are a lot of you. We're a pretty small speedrunning community, but you guys make it something special. You guys rock. Really appreciate you guys. Destroying this game is just fun, so I'm glad to be doing it with some good friends. And then, of course, to my stream community, you can find me everywhere at shovelclaws, as shovelclaws. That is just who I am. You can find me on Twitch, YouTube, and Twitter most commonly, and this is where time is going to come up, and boom. Hopefully I paused my timer. I did not. Okay, we'll just pause it, because my splits are all sorts of messed up. That's fine. There we go. Easy. It's true. Klaus convinced me to play this game. See, you could see the vouch. That was Spark 3, all levels. One last thing. I will be running at SGDQ this year during the Sonic Adventure Relay, because I am a Knuckles fan, and so that game was actually one of my first speedruns. So you guys can find... shout out to the Sonic Adventure community. That entire Adventure community is great. You guys will be able to watch that, I believe it's May 1st at 4 p.m. I'll be there. Very, very cool run. It's going to be a relay with a few other people, so you'll be able to